Graziano. And Graz, Ben Johnson heading to Chicago. So now all eyes are on the Lions' other coordinator, Aaron Glenn. What does his schedule look like this week?
Meeting with the Jets today in person for a second interview to be their head coach. As of this time, the Jets do not have any other second interviews scheduled, so that tells you they're hoping that maybe they can get Aaron Glenn locked down on a deal as early as today. If not, he is on the Saints list as well. They're hoping to bring him in this week, but all the Saints' second interviews are being delayed by a snowstorm in New Orleans. They want to bring in Anthony Weaver, they want to bring in Mike Kafka, maybe Mike McCarthy, but none of that's going to happen until later in the week because of the snow. The Dallas Cowboys are interviewing their own offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, for the head coach position today. They had a virtual interview last week with Kellen Moore, the Eagles offensive coordinator. They had an interview yesterday with Leslie Frazier, the former Vikings head coach and Bills defensive coordinator. So Cowboys working through their list, but Brian Schottenheimer, their own offensive coordinator, is the guy they're talking to today for the possibility of making him the head coach. The Las Vegas Raiders wanted Ben Johnson, didn't get him. There are a lot of people around the league that believe that they might pivot to Pete Carroll, the former Seahawks head coach. It's been a difficult search to get a handle on in terms of the likelihood. They've talked to a few people. Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is a name that they talked to, and he's certainly a guy they know well from playing in the same division. But the Raiders, keep an eye on Pete Carroll. Don't rule that one out in Las Vegas.
It'll be really interesting if that ends up happening. Thanks to Graz, more from you throughout the rest of the show. And now this new on NFL Live from Adam Schefter. The Vikings have extended Kevin O'Connell, a multi-year deal that they've agreed to, and he was scheduled to be entering the last year of his contract, but no longer. So congratulations to Kevin O'Connell. A phenomenal year of coaching out of him, although I know the Vikings wanted to continue on longer into the playoffs. All right, let's get back to championship weekend in the NFL. And how about this note? The Commanders haven't been afraid of going for it on fourth down because they've been successful because of it. Now, they've gone for it 64% of the time. The rest of the NFL has only done it 22% of the time this postseason. They are 6 for 9 on those attempts, and they have scored 35 points on drives with a conversion, which is 52% of their total points. Hawk, Dan, what do we need to know there?
I'm sure by now you know that the Washington Commanders quarterback, Jaden Daniels, is just a rookie. But did you know that every week he uses VR tech to get extra reps from the perspective he's going to see in his next game? Well, our Daniel Orlovsky, no relation, uses VR tech to show you reps from Jaden Daniels' perspective of his last game, thanks to Next-Gen Stats and the Status Pro Visualizer, which allows the recreation of the play exactly as it happened in the game. Dan, go to work.
Hawk, you talk about Jaden Daniels. In the playoffs, his QBR is a 99.1. A perfect QBR is 100 and third and fourth down. How does he go about doing that? Okay, so I want to go become Jaden Daniels. This is 4th and 2 against the Detroit Lions late in the game. Got to have it situation. And we talk a lot about concepts versus full progressions, meaning I've taught everybody getting to the line of scrimmage, and oftentimes as a quarterback, you got to figure out what the coverage is pre-snap for concepts, meaning this safety is going to tell me, hey, if he goes back to the half of the field, I'll do something with the ball. If he goes to the middle of the field, that tells me where to go with the ball after the snap. That's in concept pass game. Well, this is a full progression play because it's 4th and 2. As an offense, we want to anticipate a coverage, but it's such a big play. I want to have a coverage or a route concept that beats any and all kinds of coverages. Okay, I want to back up here. This play is going to be called rail mesh, meaning this guy is going to be as the back, the number one option. He's going to run what we call a rail route. And then the mesh is front side, that same side as the back. We want these guys absolutely to try to get open and win on some of these shallow and/or crosses. And they have a cornerback side, but I'm really trying to free up something in what we call that mesh opportunity or traffic. Now, as a quarterback, I'm reading this number 1 front side to number 2 on that shallow. And the reality is this, as you're a quarterback and you get to the line of scrimmage, reasons why these plays are so good is you don't need to know the coverage perfectly pre-snap. This is a full progression. Remember, I'm starting with this rail route, and he's going to be my number one option no matter what the coverage is. Couple things. I want to become the back on the rail route. When the ball gets snapped, the number one important part is, as a back, you want to get your eyes back to Jaden Daniels right now because that ball can come up at any moment, any situation. It's 4th and 2. Now let's go back to be Jaden Daniels, and as he catches this snap, you're trying to figure out, well, who's got the back or where in a zone defense is the defender. As I catch this snap, I'm just trying to see, do bodies move outside to the sideline, okay? Ball gets snapped, and I see this linebacker right here. he is going to widen with the ball, get snapped, and move outside. That tells me he's got this back in one-on-one situations. So if he gets free through any bodies or traffic, I can't throw that football. And as I peek out there, he's covered. There's no way that I want to throw the football to that back because this linebacker right here has widened. Okay, then I want to go back and get to number 2 in my full progression. That defender told me don't throw the ball. Now let's go to these guys front side. I want to be Zach Ertz. You now, 4th and 2, realize it's man coverage. You get off the ball, okay? The number one job is you got to free your buddy Terry McLaurin open, okay? If you're Zach Ertz, this linebacker's job, he has got vision on the quarterback. I'll be this linebacker. He's got vision. And left to right, is anybody running a crossing route that I can knock off their route? So go back to be Zach Ertz. Your job is to make sure that you go right at this guy's inside shoulder because you are just trying to free up Terry McLaurin. I want to run right at him, create traffic, and make sure that McLaurin and I are hip to hip. See how we go hip to hip? That's perfect because that doesn't allow this defender to get in between us and get into the back hip of Terry McLaurin. Now let's go and become De'Ami Brown in this situation, the guy outside. I want to do the same thing. Yes, I'm running to win in this route, but I really want to help Terry McLaurin free up. My guy's running after me. It's man-to-man coverage. There goes Zach Ertz perfectly. I then want to make sure that nobody gets in between me and Terry McLaurin. That's spectacular from the details. Now let's go become Terry McLaurin. 2 things. You get the line of scrimmage. You see that defender has got Crowder. Great. That means that this defender has me in man-to-man coverage. And as Crowder pushes vertical, I want to do one thing really important. Just make sure I get into the contrails of his route, meaning I just want to go run right off his back hip. Remember, this defender's already outside of me. I don't need to waste time. I've already won with leverage, and what happens is if you go right off the contrails, see I create that natural pick, I'm going to be wide open. And as I get there, I then want to get vision to front side, making sure that I don't run into this linebacker, and I'm running hip to hip with Zach Ertz to help myself get open. Beautiful job by Zach Ertz being a good teammate, get me open. Now, right now I have vision. I'm trying to see if there's a defender seeing me, I'm going to sit down right here and give my eyes to Jaden Daniels, find myself get open. If there is not a defender, remember this linebacker is widening with the back. No one has vision on me. I want to keep running, give my eyes to the quarterback and make sure that he knows, throw me out in front so I can catch that ball and run for a huge first down. Now let's go back to be Jaden Daniels on this. Remember, the beauty of a full progression concept is I don't have to diagnose everything pre-snap. I am always going to start with the number 1 guy. That's going to be my back, and then I'm going to work to my number 2 guy and Terry McLaurin coming on the shallow cross. I just took 3-4 minutes to show everybody the details of how all that comes together. See how short of a period of time Jaden Daniels has to diagnose, recognize, and then execute flawlessly. 4th and 2. Huge part of this game on the line. I get the snap. I see that linebacker widen. Nope. Reset. Here comes the shallow cross. Huge conversion. My QBR on 3rd and 4th down in the playoffs, if I'm Jaden Daniels, is a 99.1. Philadelphia Eagles are fantastic. You better stop them on money downs.
Jaden Daniels has thrown 14 passes on 4th down this season. 11 of those have been completed for first down.
Same game parlay for the NFC Championship game.
Well, first of all, Boogie, we are going quick so I can get to this last one because I'm excited to talk about it. Bring it up. Let's roll. My man, Jaden Daniels, over. Okay? Over. I can't see the passing yards, but over. I know it's not enough. A.J. Brown, again, he's going over. This is the game where 4.5 receptions should be easy. This should be a point of emphasis for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially on money downs if they are going to play man-to-man as the Commanders. And last but not least, will Jalen Carter go over a half sack? Yes, but this is the most important component. Do we remember the first week of the playoffs when we saw Kalijah Kancey almost have an opportunity to make a huge play in that Tampa game and get the ball back, and Jaden was able to get around? The interior pressure is going to be absolutely critical for this defense to have the type of output that they had against the Los Angeles Rams. This is a different animal. Ian's got to contain and let 98 work. All overs. Now go get your money.
I knew it. He was going to hammer the over. By the way, the Eagles are currently 6-point favorites at ESPN Bet. More to